Hello beautiful people, you are welcome to my channel. I'm Gift God's Time by name if this is your first time stopping by, and to all my returning subscribers I want to say a very big thank you for your support. On today's tutorial I'm going to be guiding you on how to achieve this flare dress or a skater dress with this funky sleeve that has ruffles. So this is the dress without belt. It is that free. Kindly stay tuned as we progress on this tutorial. I'll be using this crepe fabric and it's 3 yards. I'll be using the entire 3 yards of this crepe fabric. So I'll be drafting the flare dress first. Now I'm going to be using my pattern paper to just guide you. Firstly, I'm going to fold it into two, as you can see, and then fold it in a bias format like a triangle, as you can see from the video. So once I get this point, you could see that on one part, this part, there is one folded end and two opening, while on this other part the four ends are closed, the two ends are closed. So now I'm going to take my shoulder and then take my neckline. This is how I'll be drafting it on the main fabric. So this is just the pattern to guide you. Then I'm going to take my shoulder slants, take my armhole curve, and then from after my armhole curve, I'm going to determine how long I want this dress to be. So I'm going to measure from the shoulder all the way to the length I want it to be. So at the end, you have a shape of this nature. So next, I'm going to cut it out. So after cutting it out, you are going to get two of it, that is the front and that of the back. So this is how it's going to be like on your main fabric. You're going to have both the front and that of the back. So now I'm going to the main fabric. So this is the main fabric of 3 yards. I'm folding it into two, making it 1.5 yards, the same way I did for the pattern paper. So it's the same way I'm going to do it on my main fabric. So after getting the fold, these 3 yards fold into two, that's 1.5, I'm going to slant it like a triangle, the same way I did for the pattern. So this is it. If you watch the pattern, you're going to understand. So this is the triangle. Now I'm going to take my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 7, but I'm marking 9 inches, up to 9 inches. I'm not going to use the entire 9 inches. So after marking the shoulder, getting the shoulder slant, I'm going to take my neckline. For that, I'm using 2.5 inches. Now for the depth, for the back, I'm using 1 inches, 1 inch. While for the front, I'll be using 4 inches. The front and the back neckline, I don't want it to be the same. So the back, I'm using 1 inch, while the front 4 inches. So that is it. So now I'm going to take my original shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches. After that, I'm going to come down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slant. I'm going to connect it to the neckline, as you can see from the video. So next, I'm going to take my armhole depth, but I'll be using from my shoulder to my bust measurements. That's what I'm going to be marking, which is 10 inches. So after marking it, I'm going to just connect that line straight to it. I'm going to connect it. So after that, what I will be doing, because I'll be cutting the back first, so I'm going to take the midpoint, and from that midpoint I'm just going to curve it a little bit. So what I will be doing, I'll be cutting out the back pattern, the back dress first. Now from my shoulder, I'm going to measure how long I want this dress to be. When I get the desired length, that is the point I'm going to be marking all through from that shoulder point. So from that point, I'm just going to be dragging my tape to one end, to like get to the other end. Don't take it from the neckline, from that shoulder part. Don't take it from the armhole, so that you have equal length. So what I'm doing here, I'm cutting out the neckline of the back first. Then I'm going to cut out the shoulder slant and the armhole, and then cut out the length. After cutting it out, this is how it looks like. So next, I'm going to separate the front and the back. I'm going to move out the back and then keep this front one because it has the neckline I desire. So what I'll be doing, I'm going to cut out the neckline. What I'll be doing is I'm going to go ½ inch inward at the armhole, that is the midpoint, and connect the curve. I'm doing this for that of the front because the front armhole is deeper than that of the back. So this is the pattern I'll be working with. So I'm going to cut the facing for the neckline. I will be cutting the back first to show you. The same way I cut the back is the same way I'm going to cut the front. So I've gone ahead to fold my flay dress for the back into two. As you can see, that is the neckline. I got another fabric, the fabric I'll be using for facing. I fold it into two, so this is it. So now I'm going to align it. I'm going to align my back part of the dress to this other fabric. So from the video you could see that the folded parts of the back dress and the facing are aligned together. So what I'll be doing, I'll be cutting out the neckline and then follow the shoulder slants. Now I'm going to measure that 7 inches because that's how long I want it to be for that of the back. So when I get that 7 inches mark, I'm going to connect it with a curve to my shoulder. So this is how I want the back to be, and I'm going to cut it out. This is it when it's been opened up. So I'm going to place it on the back neckline for you to see. So this is the back piece of the dress, the flea dress. I'm going to place it like so, that is right side facing right side. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be taking the midpoint of the back because I'm going to be having button at the back. So from that midpoint, I'm going to draw like up to 4 inches. So I'm going to measure and make sure that it's 4 inches. Now this 4 inches will be an opening at the back, though it will be an opening. So from that midpoint, I'm going to be marking ½ inch on both sides. So I'll mark ½ inch on both sides. I'll be sewing on that ½ inch, and then I'll mark till I get to that 4 inches. When I get to that 4 inches, I'm going to put a curve, as you can see. So I will be sewing the neckline. I'm going to be sewing those ½ inches, while that midpoint, I'm going to be slashing it open. At this part of the neckline, I'll be adding my loop for the button. So I've gone ahead to sew the neckline and the ½ inch I told you about, and I've also slashed the midpoints open. What I'll be doing next, I'll be notching it, those ½ inch parts and that center part, just to make sure that it's relaxed. So by the time I'm flipping over the facing, which I'm doing now, it will be able to relax properly. So I'm just going to bring out all the pointy edges properly using my scissors. So this is the other part that I have my loop. So as you can see, you're going to see the loop. I already did it. So I'm just going to make sure that it's everything aligned properly, and I'm going to iron it. So this is it when it's ironed, and I will be fixing my button at this other point. So next, this is the front part. I've also gone ahead to cut out the facing the same way I did for the back, but there is no opening at the front. This is the front. So you can use bias to finish up your neckline, but I prefer using facing for mine. It gives that good finishing. So this is how the front looks like. So now I'll be placing right side facing right side. I'll be joining the front and back at the shoulder point and also at the side. So this is how I'm going to fold my shoulder to give a good finishing as well. So at the end, this is how it's going to be. This is the wrong side of the shoulder, and this is the right part of the shoulder. So the seam is inside. So I've also gone ahead to sew the side seam using 1 inch allowance. So at the end, I'm going to flip it over for you to see. I've joined both the front and the back at the shoulder and at the side. So this is how it looks like at the back with the button and the loop, and this is how it looks like in front. So what is left is the sleeve. Now for the down part, I'm going to hem it using my bias. So we'll proceed in drafting the sleeve pattern. So I already have a detailed tutorial on how to draft a proper sleeve, long sleeve, short sleeve. I already have that on my channel. So for this sleeve, As you can see, the front part is different from that of the back because the armholes are different. So now for this sleeve, I'm using the length of 18 inches. That's like 3/4. That's what I'll be using for the length of the sleeve. So next I will fold the sleeve into two, as you can see. Now from the tip of the sleeve, I'm going to come down by 9 inches. From that 9 inches, I'm going to connect it with a curve to the seam of the sleeve, as you can see. So this is how the sleeve pattern will be altered. So I'm going to cut off this point that I just drew. I'm going to cut it off because we don't need it. This is where our ruffles is going to be. So this is how your sleeve will be. So at that center, that midpoint, it has opening. So this is my fabric. I'm going to place my pattern, as you can see, and then cut it out. Now I've added my allowance on the pattern already, so I don't need to add anything on the fabric. I'm just going to cut it, as you can see. So after cutting it, I'm going to cut out two of these, both the front, left and right parts. So now I have a long fabric. Now this fabric is measuring in width. I'm using 6.5 inches. I'm going to be folding one part of the hem, so at the end I will arrive at 5.5 inches. Now it's very long. It's up to 80 inches in length because I'm going to be forming gathers. So I'm going to gather it so that it will form that ruffles you see at the sleeve. So next I'm going to join the sleeve at the side using my 1 inch allowance. So after joining the sleeve, this is how it looks like. So this is the center part which we had the opening. So now I've gone ahead to gather this long strip I told you about. So I'm just going to make sure that I spread the gathers evenly at that opening. So I'm just going to gather it all through till I get to the end and bring these other parts at the end. I'm going to join those two ends together. So this is what it looks like after gathering the long strip, that is the gathers at the sleeve. So this is how it looks like. This is it. This is the sleeve. So this is the sleeve we're going to be attaching to the dress. So this is how it looks like. It's an easy tutorial. By the time you watch from beginning to the end, it's very easy. So I'm just going to fix my sleeve and we are done with this outfit. If you've watched to this extent, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are yet to. Bye.